Fiveish Fangirls, I love you, and I'm one of the Fiveish. In fact, I'm the biggest one of the Fiveish. I am the Sixth Doctor Colin Baker, and I wish you all well. Have fun.
As this may continue all the way to episode 443, the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. We've got a chair. That's a good sign. It's a life form with a bum. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad to join us. Let's start off like we do every week with the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Belvedere.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Reunited and it feels good. That is applicable in a number of ways.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yep. It's an early Christmas miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yay, we're all here.
Yes.
With a topic that's very, very close to all our hearts.
Yes.
But we will get to that. First up, some news. Watch your TV and or streaming services because Disney is going to be airing a 100th anniversary documentary celebrating 100 years of Disney. Disney 100, A Century of Dreams, a special edition of 2020, which will actually air later this week as we're recording this, Thursday, December 14th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be on ABC, of course. But it will be streaming on Hulu on the 15th and on Disney Plus on the 22nd. So if you miss it on the tube, do not worry. It's Disney. They've got you covered.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's a 2-hour special commemorating Disney's centennial with interviews, rare footage, photos. A look inside Disney's newest attraction and never before heard stories from those who built the Disney legend. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Totally in my wheelhouse. It's a documentary about a subject I love.
Mm-hmm.
Such a sucker for documentaries. It was really funny. It's one of those universal things that I was scrolling on TikTok. It was late last week, and it showed me a video of dog dancing, which is something they do at Crufts, which is the big dog show over in the UK. It's like the equivalent of the dog show that they show here on Thanksgiving. Except they do way more than just show off different breeds. They have like agility competitions and other things too. So, but I was watching that, and then I was watching, the algorithm was showing me others, and then Chauncey was watching it with me. And at one point I was like, I'd really love to see how exactly these people teach their dogs to do this sort of thing. And then it was on Hulu. There's a mini series about exactly that. It's called The Secret Life of Dancing Dogs, and it follows some of the competitors who just competed in this year's Crufts earlier this year. So,
nice.
Asking
you shall receive.
So yes, you just never know what you're going to find online. So there's that. Also from the House of Mouse, in a way. Star Wars is going to re-release the Thrawn origin story in book form, specifically audiobook form. The Star Wars Legend novels Survivor's Quest and Outbound Flight are going to be released December 19th by Random House Worlds. And they are going to be the full novels, because they had been released in audiobook previously, but they were abridged.
Yep.
These are going to be completely unabridged, so it's going to be the entire thing.
Yeah.
So if you
Because
want to get
early
more
days,
Thrawn,
most of them are abridged.
yeah. If you want more Thrawn backstory that may or may not be canon going forward, that's the one thing. Is this isn't it's like Thrawn, everything in these books not necessarily canon to the live action stuff,
No.
but
Back in the day, it was canon until now.
yeah.
I think you'll find plenty of fans who still consider it to be canon. So
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
well,
Yeah.
until they tell us otherwise,
Otherwise,
Yep.
yeah.
you can accept it as canon until we're shown elsewhere that that's not the case. So, but yeah, if you were intrigued by Thrawn's live action debut in Ahsoka, then you can get more info on the Grand Admiral. And speaking of science fiction stuffs, we have the nominees for this year's Saturn Awards,
Ooh, nice.
which is for the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror. So this is everything that those other more supposedly prestigious awards ceremonies like to gloss over. This is the equivalent for us nerds. So, like best science fiction film and best fantasy film, Barbie, Dungeons and Dragons, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Superhero film, which 3 out of 5 is the MCU with Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Guardians 3. Action adventure film, thriller film, actor in a film. We got very, names we all know: Harrison Ford, Chris Pratt, Keanu Reeves. They give us, categories we don't have in a lot of other things, like best younger actor in a film, best film direction, writing, production design, editing, music, costumes, makeup, special effects, international film, independent, animated, science fiction TV series, network and cable, fantasy television series, which Doctor Who, is in there. So horror film television series, action thriller television series. And then actor, actress supporting all of those, younger actor, guest starring performance. So animated series, streaming, they separate, streaming from not, which is cool. So
Yep.
the Orville for science fiction series. Well,
Nice.
Mandalorian,
Yoo-hoo.
Loki, WandaVision for fantasy series. So limited event series, Book of Boba Fett, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Actor into streaming series, take your pick: Tom Hiddleston for Loki, Oscar Isaac for Moon Knight, Anthony Mackie for Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hugh McGregor for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anson Mount for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and Adam Scott for Severance.
Ay. That's
Yeah.
a loaded.
Yeah.
A loaded category.
It's like, I'm excited that we have an awards like this. At the same time, It's like,
Mhm.
I would struggle to vote.
Yeah, because I've seen both seasons of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and man, he can act.
Yeah. So it's like, I'll just cheer on for everything, and then that way I'll be
Yes.
happy no matter what.
I'll be happy with whoever wins. I really feel sorry for the people who have to vote, because it's just like, I don't think we can have a tie.
Yeah. Like, if y'all are nerds like the rest of us, good luck.
Yeah.
they will need it.
Yeah.
They might have to do the dartboard.
Maybe. Well, we'll find out how it all turns out on February 4th. 'Cause that's when the awards shall be presented.
There you go.
So may the force be with those that have to do the voting.
Yes.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Glad it's not us.
At the same time, I kind of wish it was.
I know. that double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Know that I want that kind of pressure. I just want to enjoy things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then, my inner Palpatine is like, but think of the power! Yeah.
True, I guess.
Well, there is that for the news for the most part. Although in the feeds, we do have a new episode of Gold Standard. Very, very, very quickly getting close to being with modern day with episode 91. It's crazy.
Woohoo.
2018 Best Picture winner, Green Book. So,
Bless you.
nothing like getting Mahershala Ali on. That's not a bad thing. Second time in 3 episodes we've talked about Mahershala Ali. So,
Patrick.
yep. So there is that. Then we got a decent amount of feedback here. So first up from Shalane. She says, "Hey, I had McDonald's for lunch today since you girls are talking about Loki. I hope you had some chicken nuggets."
Exactly.
I was all about the ad of McDonald's because they have McDonald's in the seasons. Also broke the oath about avoiding TV spots in the MCU films because of spoilers. Yeah. Well, yeah, you'd have to live in the middle of nowhere to not see a McDonald's and therefore not see the ads. So
Yeah, that would do it.
the McDonald's, they put themselves everywhere for a reason. That's on purpose.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Loki is the only Disney series so far of Marvel that has 2 seasons. For now. Put an asterisk on that. So for now. It's funny that Ki-Hai Kwan is in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's about multiverse, and then he's in Loki season 2 about the multiverse. I think that's part of the reason why they hired him.
Uh-huh.
He's just really cool. He's a cool dude. So, if you girls don't know, there's going to be a Funko Pop of Mobius on a Wave Runner.
Not surprised.
Yeah, that's something that we did get around to mentioning last week because in our chat we were brainstorming. It's like, okay, Mobius, he's obsessed with Wave Runners and key lime pie. He's like, surely, whatever life he had on the Sacred Timeline, he must have been in Florida or something. No, we find out he's from Ohio.
Yeah.
And he sells Wave Runners in Ohio. Not very well, because the shop also sells ATVs, and those are a bit more of a hot commodity.
Yeah.
There's a bit more land than water in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, they're right next to the lake, but
well, yeah. I mean, you could totally take something like that, and a water, an aquatic activity, thing like that out onto a lake. I mean, we have a vacation home on near the part of it feeds into Lake Michigan, and there are people out there on ski-doos. So, totally a thing.
Yep.
Granted, the water can be a lot colder.
I bet.
When you're inland. Just a smidge.
Yeah, it's the take a running dive off the dock to get the shock out of your system and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. So, Yeah, unless you're wearing a wetsuit, your season for using said ski-doo in Ohio on the lake is a lot shorter.
Yes. Because you can't modify ski-doos to be snowmobiles.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: at least they live by a lake that you can actually swim in. Because the one that is spitting distance from me, I don't want to swim in that. It's gross.
Yeah.
It stinks. And it's actually pretty shallow.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well boating would actually work.
That's true. Also, yes, Rachel, I still think the MCU is still awesome. The Multiverse Saga is a guilty pleasure, I would say. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're not completely abandoning it. Don't leave us alone. Going back to Charlie's Angel, everyone loves doing the pose. Yes, that's true. Every group photo at every prom / birthday party / Friday night, homecoming, whatever, you do a group photo, and all the girls are all like, yeah, this just like Charlie's Angels. We're all guilty. Even myself.
It's true. Yep.
Also, I think next con or Halloween, there will be a lot of cosplays of Sylvia in her McDonald's uniform and Mobius on a wave runner. One of those is going to be easier than the other.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I would not put it past someone to do a cardboard cutout of a wave runner and carry it around. So.
Yep.
You could get creative with that.
Yep. Well, they're going to have to make their Sylvia vintage McDonald's uniform from scratch because apparently you can't buy vintage ones. So,
yeah, I could have.
As we learned last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be tricky.
Let's have an excuse to eat French fries all day. Like I'm in character. Walk around the milkshake. Bet the ice cream machine didn't break as often in the 70s.
Yeah. They were made of a little more sterner stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything was.
Yep.
Yep. There we go.
He says, I think there's a rumor that Pedro Pascal is being cast as Mr. Fantastic for the new Fantastic Four film. Yeah, that's we're just gonna have to wait until they, because there's so many fan castings. So Pedro Pascal, he can do it, I think. So, but yeah, he didn't get a lot of screen time, but John Krasinski, who was the fan cast, and then he did get cast.
Yep.
For a short while in Multiverse of Madness. So,
and I actually thought that he fairly well looked the part. So I wasn't.
Exactly. Last thing, speaking of early 2000s movies, I think you girls should talk about the best and worst films of the 2000s.
You got.
Well, I think my list of worst would probably be a lot longer than best, because the best, if you're talking just the double O's, well, you got the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, I don't know. Every era there are some stinkers, but at the same time, where do we?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the films to refresh my memory, because like I said, for all I really care about is we got the Lord of the Rings. So
yeah, it's like when you got Lord of the Rings in your decade, then it's pretty.
Yeah. Do you need anything else?
No.
Not really. Then she sent in one little other piece. She said, going back to Aaron meeting Rachel, the only person I've met is Brittany. Yes, that's true.
Yep.
Brittany has met Chrissy and Shalane.
Yep.
And I have met Brittany and Holly.
Yep.
And that's as far as we've gotten so far. In
one of these days.
Almost 10 years of doing this and being friends for 10 years. So Over 10 years.
Mhm. See, we just need that doctor to come with the TARDIS and we'll be perfectly fine.
Doesn't even matter which doctor with which TARDIS. Oops, spoilers. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Probably the one with the jukebox, the way I've been going lately with music.
Well, that's true. That's very true. So, whichever version still has the pool.
That too.
Oh. Speaking of which, we also got some feedback from Aaron. He says, "My first convention!" Exclamation point. Says, "Hello, wonderful Fiveish hosts. I may not have a lot to say on Loki, but I thought I'd share a few thoughts on my experience at GalaxyCon as it was my first convention. Being my first time at one of these, I decided to splurge a bit and got the VIP pass, which I'm really happy I did. This allowed me to get a lot of autographs, many more than I thought I would end up getting. I ended up getting all the ones I wanted during the first 2 days, so the third I had wide open to get the ones I didn't think I'd have time for. The only 2 long lines I had were Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell, mainly because they were only there the one day. Sorry, Rachel, but when I got Charlie Cox, I only had to wait about 15 minutes. Bite me.
Oh, she's
I'll
that
take
bitter,
your 15 minutes and raise you 2 hours. No, it's okay. It's all good. I had the VIP last year, and because I was collecting a lot of autographs last year, yes, that was very helpful to have. But since I didn't, I was only collecting 2 autographs this time around, so it's like I had some time to kill. You know, it wasn't the end of the world. But if you're planning on doing a lot of celebrity autograph collecting, yeah, the VIP is definitely going to work in your favor. So. I went to the Rocky Horror Shadowcast as well, spending a little extra for the very Bostwick meet and greet beforehand. Oddly enough, it was cheaper to do this to get his autograph than at his booth. It was my first Shadowcast, and I had a blast, but of course I had to get in the Virgin line. I knew I'd have to do something a little embarrassing, but hey, I was there to have some fun. My only issue is with the movie playing on the sides. I was more focused on the stage that I didn't always know when to turn to those screens, so I missed a few things. But I would say the comedy group's edit of the movie was brilliant, including the song Kenough from Barbie. Yeah, that's why that particular setup, having the 2 screens on the far sides of the stage, was a little distracting because I found myself watching the movie and not watching them. So I missed a lot of the gags that they were doing on the stage. So yeah, if you can go where the setup is, they are literally standing not like in front of the screen so you can't see it, but down in front like at a traditional movie theater. And then it's a lot easier to watch both at the same time. You kind of have to know your venue is the thing. So yeah, and I'm glad that you did not have too much of embarrassment doing the Virgin initiation, which I will not repeat what it was. 1, because it can vary from show to show, and 2, you had to be there. So I really enjoyed the vendors, buying far more than I thought I would have. Yeah, well, welcome to the club. If it weren't for them, I just stayed under budget. I probably would have, except I found a really great artist. And after talking with her for a while about our favorite comic characters, I ended up commissioning a portrait of Zatanna. It's beautiful, and I can't wait to frame it. Yeah, you've been initiated into like everything at this point, Aaron.
You spent too much money. You found everything. Yeah, just you're good.
That means you did it right.
You did.
And of course, I got to meet some podcasting friends. I got to talk with Chris for a bit, which was funny because I asked him to sign my comic, and it was coincidentally the same cover he was currently redrawing. Chris, Zan's husband. When I got to talk with Zan, I decided to have some fun and started by asking for her autograph. She got a little confused, but when I pulled out a gold standard shirt, she started laughing and knew who I was. We had to talk for a while, bouncing around from movies to David Lynch to podcasts to just the fact that we lived pretty close to each other. Then she randomly called us to a guy pulling him over and got talked with Charles Skaggs, including about the first Doctor Who special. Now for my version of Where's Waldo called Where's Rachel? I spent Friday looking for her, as well as a chunk of Saturday. She would post on Instagram, and I would try to run to that area, but no luck. Finally, I see her at Chris's table, and afraid that in the time it takes to walk 10 feet, she would disappear. Pointed straight at her as I rushed forward. We had a good talk, and she got to sign my Fiveish shirt, wishing me luck at trying to hunt down the remaining signatures. Yes, it was. And the thing is I would see, he had messaged me on either Instagram or one of the socials, but I did not see it until I was back at the hotel and had Wi-Fi. Because there was no signal in the vendor hall on Saturday. So it was like, I even tried to tweet something like early Saturday, like, there's like no signal in here. Posting's going to be limited. Like, good luck. So.
You're gonna be doing a recap later, and it's not gonna be in the moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like, even if I did manage to post something, odds are it was something that I took a picture I took way earlier, and I just happened to like grab a bar of someone's signal from a corner somewhere or something. So yeah. But all in all, it's been a long time since I had so much fun, and I can't wait to go to another convention. I just need some time for my bank account to rest. That means you did it right. Yep. Take care, Aaron. Yes, well, I'm glad you finally tracked me down, Aaron. I kept going back to Chris's table just for that reason. I was like, if you're gonna find me, that's the most likely place, whether Zane is there or not. So, hopefully maybe next time, if we do this again next December, that we'll plan ahead so that when inevitably Saturday becomes I'm just going to leave my phone in my pocket type of day, things are already straightened out.
or you have a standard meeting point.
Anyone. Yeah.
Meet here.
Yeah. It's like, there are going to be no socials, no texting, nothing. So, but yeah, it sounds like you did it right. So, good job, Aaron. And glad we didn't scare you off. All right. So, moving on to this week's main topic is Return to the TARDIS for the 60th anniversary special. Russell T Davies back at the helm. David Tennant back on our screen. Doctor Who on Disney Plus, which, it's still a little weird, but dang, that's convenient.
Right?
It's so convenient just to log in and see it right there, Doctor Who, and I'm like, oh yeah.
So I wish it would get its own proper folder. Not that I don't mind that they had the special split, but come on.
Yeah.
They
may rearrange it.
I want an avatar.
Yeah.
I want an avatar. Come on.
Yeah. Once there's more,
yeah,
we'll give it its own folder. So, but for now, it's just so nice to log into a streaming service that I already use on the regular anyway, and just be like, "There's Doctor Who." So, yes, I got 3 specials with David Tennant returning as the 14th Doctor. This is not the 10th Doctor, Part 2, Boogaloo. I guess it has been confirmed that the 14th Doctor's DNA is slightly different than the 10th. So it is its own unique regeneration. That being said, it's David Tennant, so of course all the fanboys and fangirls are going to be like,
Uh-huh.
Well, and especially
release the hounds.
Especially when you pair him up with Donna Noble, it's like, you guys knew what you were doing.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Hey, we're gonna bring back David Tennant. All his head just perk up like meerkats out in the in the field. They're like, what? David Tennant? And they're like, yeah, we're bringing back Catherine Tate too. And they're like, wait, what?
How's that gonna work?
We're also gonna get Wilf. What? Yeah.
Oh, Wilf.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that we did not get more of Wilf, but what they had more planned, but Bernard Cribbins could not. He just was not able to film more than what they did.
Well, what they got.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you pay attention, unfortunately, you can tell at the start of the Giggle when Unit shows up that the guy being pushed around the wheelchair is not Bernard Cribbins; it's a guy in a fake beard. You can tell it's not the same person. So they had to use a body double. It's a shame, but at least we got, that particular doctor's face and Wilf reunited, and Wilf got to see Donna get her memories back.
Right.
And see her reunite with the doctor. So but first the doctor and Donna have to reunite. Which they did in the Star Beast, which also gets us our first live version of the Meep.
Yes.
I'm so excited about, because I love the Meep, because the Meep is a Meep in Big Finish, and it's so much fun.
Yes.
The appearances of the Meep has done a Big Finish. It's and the Meep has also been in some of the comics, so we all know what the Meep looks like.
Yes.
If you've bothered to read any of those, so like we knew what the Meep was going to look like and vaguely sound like. I was not expecting the Meep to be the bad guy, which kind of hurts my feelings because I've always had such lovely.
Cute bundle of fluff that's got teeth.
Like, I knew the Meep wasn't like. I mean, the Meep it's not like this poor, pathetic, helpless creature, but at the same time, it's like, I never considered the Meep could be the bad guy, and now I'm kind of mad at Russell T Davies for ruining the Meep for me.
Oh, the Meep always had it in him. It's just that
I know it's like
extreme.
It's one thing when you thought that the Meep was on the run from these, these supposed poachers or whatever, who supposedly have, completely destroyed the Meep population of the universe for their pelts. Because then it's like, poaching bad, poor Meep, it's like this
hurt paw, help.
Yeah, it's like, this Meep is the last one. They've all been destroyed. And no, it turns out that this Meep is the last Meep, but this Meep is a big old asshole.
Yep. This is like, when you, because chickens, especially roosters, chickens are assholes. I don't feel bad about slaughtering them and eating them because obviously they taste good. So then you get this little.
It's all the hatred. That's what makes it taste good and tenderizes the meat.
It's like you little effer. But yeah, so no, I don't feel bad, and honestly, I don't feel bad for this Meep. Sorry, maybe you shouldn't have been such a jerk.
Yeah.
Yep. And then of course I didn't help matters any. I sent people into giggles when somebody shared with me the Meep Jimmy Kimmel version.
The unnecessary censorship.
Bleep. Yes, but it fits so well with the character.
I know. I just hope that, like the other Meeps, like the Meep that we had met in like Big Finish, that one was innocent, and not an asshole like this particular Meep. So
hopefully that this particular specimen is not indicative of the rest.
Yes. So I go back to listen to my Meep Big Finish and be like, okay, you're not bad, you're not bad, you're not bad, you're not bad, you're not bad. You're adorable, you're fuzzy. I love you.
Please don't kill me.
Yeah. Oh. But of course, we have to have some sort of reason for the doctor to show up.
That is true.
and have Donna be completely oblivious again.
Mhm.
Giant spaceship flying through the sky, crashing nearby. Does she notice? No, because she's too busy rearranging boxes so they're easier to carry.
Uh-huh.
Life goes on as it always has.
Oh, Donna,
Mhm.
Donna,
Uh-huh.
Donna.
And just 14's sheer panic when he hears Donna's voice, and then Rose. Wait, Rose?
Uh-huh.
Not the Rose you're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You almost wonder if the name Rose was one of those residual things that
Probably was.
creeped up in Donna's mind when thinking about names for her child.
Yeah.
You know, that this name, you know, she's like, oh, Rose, that sounds pretty, without, you know, remembering where she had heard that name before, and the fact that she actually knew someone named Rose at one point. So, but Rose is cool. You know, Donna's Rose is cool. You know, very much like her mother and her grandmother, unfortunately,
Yes.
Sylvia.
And Sean, bless his soul.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Mhm.
This time around, Donna picked a winner.
Yes.
Unlike in The Runaway Bride.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. He can...
Well, you got to remember, he kind of put the whammy on her though too. So
yeah, but still,
yeah.
Not cool.
Uh-uh.
So, but yeah, of course, Sylvia being Sylvia. Once again, the doctor gets slapped by a companion's mother.
But now you got to remember, Sylvia was following a certain other incarnation number who had the same face as direction to make sure that she didn't find out. So she was following orders. So there is that.
That doesn't mean she had to smack him across the face. Okay, actually he did. So. Really, that face is just asking for slaps from companions' mothers. So, although, yeah, of the slaps that the doctor has incurred the wrath of from companions' mothers, the Jackie Tyler slap I still think is probably the top of the top, the creme de la creme of motherly slaps. So.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Top of the pops, as it were. So, but yeah, I mean the Star Beast was really just the plot was really just a reason to get the Doctor and Donna back together and find a way to save
Donna, yeah.
Save Donna first by triggering, the Dr. Donna again, but then being able to save her because genetics. Which I guess it makes sense because that's what, by inhaling that's essentially Time Lord DNA. So that is genetic material. So, and the fact that she had a child, the parents' genetic material, some of it does get passed down to the child. So that helps. In this case, it helps spread it out, thin it out a little. And then between the two of them, they're just like, yeah, okay, we're good. Let it go. Yeah, they just are like we're just gonna be like Elsa, just let it go. Something the Doctor could learn from.
Yes.
Carry around too much stress causes problems.
Talk to somebody.
So, but we also get we get to meet some new folks from Unit. So that's pretty awesome as well. So, and then of course, the Doctor and Donna take off, kind of accidentally.
Accidentally in quotation marks.
Yeah, because it's the TARDIS, and the TARDIS was excited to have Donna back on board again.
Yes.
She was. The Doctor,
Yes.
the TARDIS. If she could, she probably would have been like a cat doing that butt wiggle thing.
Yes, like
yeah,
she's back.
Yeah,
Companion.
Oh boy.
Captain Headline, you did good.
Yep. Although we also get the new TARDIS interior.
Holy roundels.
Which I've not seen this confirmed by anyone actually involved with the show, but supposedly when we see David Tennant's Doctor see the new TARDIS interior, that was David first seeing the TARDIS interior in person.
Wow.
Supposedly he had seen a 3D model, a digital 3D model, but according to the interwebs, David's entrance on the TARDIS and his Doctor getting very excited is actually David Tennant's actual reaction to seeing the inside of the TARDIS. So, which honestly, David is such a fanboy. He probably gets that excited every time he walks into the. I would. Like that would never get old. Walking into that set. First time, 50th time, 500th time, it would be exciting every single time. Oh, I get excited just when I see the outside of a TARDIS. So it's the same blue box every single time. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. But then we get the middle special, Wild Blue Yonder, which this was
episode.
A bottle episode in a number of ways, because except for the very end, the only two people on the screen are David and Catherine the entire time, acting against themselves, against a creature that can look like them, which is really cool. Very, somewhat reminiscent of the Almost People. The gangers that we got during Matt Smith's era. But not quite, obviously a different idea, but to see this, and I'm sure this is what Russell T Davies was intending, was to give David and Catherine just an opportunity to just do what they do best when they're working together as actors. And just let them go and just let them chew the scenery for 95% of an episode and just play off of each other. And it's so good. This episode is so creepy as well, which, they warned us, this is not, kid-friendly Who, which, Doctor Who's not necessarily always been child-friendly. They've definitely done their job of finding ways to weird us out.
It's definitely for the family. Where it's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a kids show per se, but you could sit down with your kids and watch the show and be like, there's stuff. I gotta think, what did we watch? No, I can't remember. Anyway, well, okay. We showed our kids, Nightmare Before Christmas. I didn't know how Lottie was gonna do with that, but she would snuggle up against me and be like, oh, it's a little spooky, but now she'll watch it by herself because she's watched it a couple dozen times. And I'm like, okay, so here we are. So it's like, it's scary, but if you're watching it with, your mom and dad right there, your little kid, it's okay. So it's always been a family show. Maybe not necessarily kid show. There is a
Doctor Who's always found a way to make things a little
Mhm.
scary, a little creepy, even yeah. I mean, it was the second story, but during the first Doctor, when the Daleks are first introduced, some of those camera shots of just like the plunger, headed towards someone's head. I'm sure some people found. I mean that with Doctor Who they call them behind the sofa moments.
Right.
Since the show's inception, and since it came back in 2005, that has not changed any. If anything, it's gotten creepier. I'm still looking at you, arachnids in the UK. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
That episode is permanently banned from my eyeballs. So, people have always been able to find something. We we joke about, especially Stephen Moffat. By the time his era ended, he'd made us afraid of angel statues, clocks, shadows.
The crack
Our
of the
own
wall.
shadow. Yes, it's like even it should make us scared of just pretty much everything in existence.
Absolutely nothing. Just that weird feeling from the corner of your eye.
Exactly. So, yeah. So to give us, the idea of, something that can look like you, can talk like you, but it doesn't quite have a grasp on people in general, which is its flaw.
Yeah.
Is an interesting premise, and the Doctor once again potentially affecting history. So with Isaac Newton. Although the fourth Doctor claims that he is the one that he dropped the apple on Isaac Newton's head. Although he may have and given Newton the idea for gravity, but this Dr. Donna gave him the idea for mavity. So
okay,
yeah, they could both be right.
So I'm going to tell this story, or mention this. So he said mavity, and I'm going to. My dad is a step nephew, because my aunt was married before, and she had 2 kids, and she married my uncle. Anyway, her kid's last name's Mavity. When I saw that, I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" Literally, I'm like, "Oh, jeez." I'm like, yeah, no, there's just, there it is. Okay. So nobody
Something
else,
like that was bound to happen eventually.
I know, but it just it kind of it didn't really freak me out, but I definitely did a huge double take.
Yeah.
I was just like, are you kidding me?
It's just like there's I saw a trailer for a horror film that's coming out, I think sometime early next year, and this little girl has an imaginary friend, and the imaginary friend's name is Chauncey.
Yeah.
I died. I about died when I heard that. And then I had to tell Chauncey, he's like, great! Now I'm going to be associated with slasher horror, jump scare horror film. I'm like, yep.
You are. Sorry.
Yep. Like, that's okay, honey. You'll live. Hey, I still have friends that when the mood strikes them, they put on their best Christian Bale Batman voice and go, Rachel! Yeah. So yeah. So it happens to the best of us. Oh my. But no, Wild Blue Yonder, very good. And then, we get all the feels when the Dr. Donna finally defeat the bad guy, and make it back to close to the place that they were before, maybe not exactly the same time. A few days have passed at least. But there is Wilf, just like Donna said he would be, waiting for them, holding watch until they return. So we get the nice reunion of the Doctor and Wilf, and it's like, the night. Oh, so nice.
Yes.
To see him again. So, and then we see that all the world has gone to shit.
Yeah. Yep.
And Wilf is all like, "Great, you're back. Great to see you. Now fix this."
Help! Yes.
Yes.
You're the only one that I know who can fix this. So do the fixing.
And that leads us into the episodes I think pretty much everybody was antsy for, as much as, after, we get through, the first episode, and I'm like, yay, it's like, seeing the Doctor and Donna reunite, and Sylvia and Unit and blah, and then I get to the end of the episode, and I'm like, Doctor Who, I missed you so much, And then we get Wild Blue Yonder, and I'm like, oh, this is really creepy, but this is really good. Ooh, Russell T Davies, I don't know what you're on, but keep at it. This is awesome.
Basically, he is on all the drugs.
How I miss you.
Yep.
Somebody needs to make a TikTok with Russell T Davies using that one sound. I took the drugs, and the drugs are working. The drugs are working. Yeah.
The gummies or whatever, they've kicked in.
Yeah. That's stuff legal in the UK.
Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
Somebody's doing something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe parts of the UK. Maybe it's legal in Wales, but not England. I don't know.
But there is some. Yeah. There are some things being consumed over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or Russell T Davies just has a very vivid imagination. So
that could be.
Maybe this is why he took over showrunning it. Maybe his husband was all like, because Russell would keep coming up with the ideas, and he'd be like, "That's nice, honey." And then eventually, his husband got on the phone with Chris Chibnall and be like, "Chris, you leaving? Great. Hey, what do you feel about Steven?
Help!
Let's call up Steven and get him to back this, and let's go to the powers that be and be like, please take Russell Bratt back. He's driving me nuts with all these ideas that he doesn't have anybody to tell them to, so he tells them to me."
Look, I got things I gotta do.
Yeah.
So,
I gotta pull some weeds out of the garden. Gutters need cleaning. It's like, somebody's got to take care of this place, and he's not doing it. He just sit there getting ideas. I don't know. Wild Blue Yonder, it's like, oh, this is so good and interesting and different. But then, going into this last week, we're all like, bring on the Toymaker. It's like, we've been waiting on this since they told us the Neil Patrick Harris was going to be a guest spot, and they wouldn't tell us who. We're all like, he's playing the Toymaker, and we said that for 6 months, and then they were finally like, yes, he's playing the Toymaker, and we're all like, told you so.
The world's best, worst kept secret.
Yes, exactly. So, this was the story I think a lot of us were waiting for. The return of the Toymaker after 58 years, I think. 57, 58, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was a first Doctor story, but it wasn't during the first Doctor's first season. So, but it is, unfortunately, is a story that is missing. So.
I think there's one episode that they still have, and the rest is gone. Although,
images. There's still images.
Yeah. They're going to animate it.
Yes.
Right.
I saw some.
Yeah, I've seen some of the clips of the animation. Okay, I'm gonna have to then take a little bit of getting used to, but hey,
Yeah.
if we can get the whole story, I'm for it.
Yeah, watching those animated segments. It's yeah, you gotta get used to it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, hey, we actually
Or
have,
is it kind of
It's better
not,
than nothing.
yeah, that's
right?
true.
Or is it, here's what we got, it's not quite in its final polished form yet, but we want to show you what we got?
Yeah.
But those that don't necessarily know the Toymaker, I'm sure hope they still enjoyed this story, but probably would be very, a little confused about who this foe is. But that being said, oh my God, Neil Patrick Harris was so good in this.
Oh yes, he was.
Oh my God, he's perfect.
I mean, just the right mix of everything that we know he could pull off.
Yes, it helps that he's got a lot of training. He is actually a amateur magician, so like when he's doing the card shuffling, that's actually him. And a lot of the other stuff, there's some CGI help, but a lot of the stuff is you see is him. The marionettes, that is him, because he is a nerd in that fashion, which obviously he's a stage performer, very much a theater musical nerd like a lot of us are, which would apparently explain why he did not know the Spice Girls song that he did an entire dance number to.
Okay.
In one of the behind the scenes making of videos, Neil Patrick Harris was all like, yeah, I don't know the song. I did not know this song. Like, how do you not know the Spice Girls? You're gay. How do you not know the Spice Girls? For one, sorry to stereotype.
Then again,
I'm like,
he's, my sister and I were huge Spice Girl fans in our time for our singing. Yeah. But it's like they were everywhere in the mid 90s, so you at least need to have, I'm sure you at least heard the song somewhere.
Yeah, well, and this was the song that, Spice Up Your Life is the song that they wrote for, like, the World Cup that year.
Yeah.
So, like, it wasn't just, like, a song that they were just playing on the radio for fun. It was being used in, like, all the advertisements and stuff, for this, world event. It's called the World Cup for a reason. But at the same time, it's like, well, he is a theater nerd, so he probably knows way more show tunes than anybody ever. So, and I was like, okay, I guess I could give you a pass, especially considering I just finished Patrick Stewart's book, and there's multiple times where he is confronted with something pop culture related and is absolutely clueless, because he's a huge fan of just classical music, and that's all he consumes. And Shakespeare. That's like all he reads is like Shakespeare and like Dickens, and all he listens to is classical music. So like when he met Sting for the first time, he had no idea who Sting was or what kind of music he did, and he tried to make small talk, and he knew somebody told him that Sting was a musician. So he knew that much, but he didn't know like that he was a very popular musician at the time, because this would have been like in the 80s. And I guess he's like, I guess when they were making small talk, and Patrick Stewart is like, oh, you know what kind of, are you in a musical group or something like that? And he's like, yeah, I'm in the Police. And Patrick Stewart's like, oh, you're in a police band, thinking he was like a musical group made out of police officers. So yeah, I guess maybe Neil Patrick Harris does not know the Spice Girls, or at least that particular song. Odds are he probably knows who the Spice Girls were, but probably just did not know the song. But still, we're gonna have to have a talk, Neil, baby. Yeah, that and Disney. He knows everything Disney. Maybe if the Spice Girls had been Disney, then maybe he would know. Considering he was just at Disney World this last week. So. It was funny. People are sharing pictures of him. I'm like, yeah, and he's gonna be on Doctor Who this weekend. But yes, the Celestial Toymaker, first time, the return of the Celestial Toymaker for the first time in 57 years. Not that there have not been attempts to bring him back. Brian Hales, who created the character initially, pitched an outline called The Eyes of Nemesis in 75, which would have put Tom Baker's Doctor against the Toymaker. The outline was rejected. He came close with The Nightmare Fair, which we all know, which would have been a 6 Doctor story, but did not happen because Doctor Who went on hiatus for 18 months. But is now a Big Finish audio. Also on the voting list for good, the book club poll for this month, just saying. But as I said last week, if it doesn't win, my feelings will not be hurt because I do have a birthday coming in February, and that's may or may not be on my short list. And it was turned into a novel by Target Books. And then the Toymaker was actually going to be the villain in Dimensions in Time, which I know people do not like to talk about. I plant my flag in that special that is canon because it is the only on-screen interaction of the 6th Doctor and the Brigadier. So I'm going to fly that flag until I fall over. But Michael Gough, who played the Toymaker all the way back against William Hartnell's Doctor, didn't want to come back, so they ended up making the Ronnie.
He was I think that was roughly the time that the Tim Burton Batman was going on.
Well, Dimensions in Time was 93.
Yeah. So when did Batman? No, because
the first one was 89.
89, and then there was Batman Returns.
Yes.
It was in 92 or 93.
I don't remember.
But he was, but
something like that.
More of those, even after Tim Burton left, and it was Joel Schumacher because he was in Batman and Robin. He was out.
Yeah, Batman Returns was 92. Yeah, so yeah, he was playing Alfred at that time. So we always thought that Alfred with Michael Keaton's Batman looked familiar. There you go. So yeah, so there's that. Well, I guess Batman money was all like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Batman money, thank you. Which, considering how panned Dimensions in Time is, depending on your opinion, you could say he dodged a bullet there, but
could be.
Wow. Not in my opinion, because I love Dimensions in Time. I know it's so just a mind trip, but
an acquired taste, but still fun.
Yeah. Just remember, it was for charity. That's just you just gotta keep reminding yourself that it was for children in need, and somebody thought, oh, let's combine Doctor Who with EastEnders. And somehow make that make sense. So
we have no idea. We just kind of smile and nod.
Yeah, those of us that aren't, British and never watched EastEnders. Even now, I'm like, I don't know who those people are, but yeah, sure, whatever. All I care is the 6th Doctor and the Brigadier meet. So yeah, but the Toymaker, yes, very obviously a very formidable foe. Not a Time Lord, but extremely powerful because to him, the universe is just his giant playground and everything bends to his will. So things like physics and math don't matter, at least in his realm. Somehow he has gotten out into the real world, which I don't know if we'll set something down the line. We'll figure out how he managed to do that or what. But yeah, now he's back to round 2 against the Doctor because the Doctor beat him at his own game the first time around. Now he wants revenge. And then and because he's being the Toymaker, he never does anything subtly, in a subtle fashion. So the best way to get the Doctor's attention is to slowly control everybody's mind via screens, starting with the invention of television in the 1920s. So, which, funny enough, I mean, John Logie Baird, who historically was a guy that did, help create what we now consider television. And yes, it was with a ventriloquist dummy head, essentially, that image that we see him experimenting and creating, that is what happened. Funnily enough, the guy playing John Logie Baird had already played John Logie Baird for Russell T Davies in an ITV drama. But it was working with John McKay. That's how he learned about Stooky Bill the Dummy, and the early television. So then Russell T Davies was like, "Hey, how would you like to do this again? Play the same guy again."
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Just a subtle way to get the Doctor's attention. Let's just slowly brainwash everybody for the next almost 100 years, and
it's kind of a riff, or something on the what was that episode? The Sound of Drums.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and instead it's like, oh, now we're gonna we're not, instead of just, I'm going to suddenly invent a satellite system. We're just gonna go back in time and do TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as we've seen in Doctor Who, television doesn't have the best track record.
Right?
Either. There's a reason that episode is called The Idiot's Lantern. So
it's ironic that a TV show is
panning television.
It's kind of like, don't you want people to watch more TV? I don't know.
Well, the funny thing is, the Idiot's Lantern is just television. This is anything with a screen that can have something broadcast to it. And I'm pretty sure all 4 of us watch these Doctor Who episodes not on our television. Nope. But on a computer, using Disney Plus. So you have to be connected to the internet to be able to watch Doctor Who. So
yeah, so it's more like the internet is infested, but it's not the internet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because it has to have a screen.
Yeah.
Oh, like if you were just using like a fax machine, I guess you would be fine.
I don't know how you'd watch someone with a fax machine, but sure.
Well, that's my point. The fax machine, you'd be fine because there's no way to watch something.
Yep.
So.
Go play cards.
Well, as we've seen with the Toymaker, playing cards is nuts.
Well,
yeah.
Go play cards with yourself, not with the Celestial Toymaker.
Yeah.
Although, again, we get some very good performances out of David and Catherine. David does a really good job of, like, you can tell that the Doctor is like genuinely terrified when he realizes that it's the Toymaker.
Yeah.
The Toymaker rattled the first Doctor, and the thankfully the bit that still, at least some of the bits that still exist from the original, from the first Doctor, is the end, and the Doctor explaining to Polly and
okay, Celestial Toymaker. That was Stephen and Dodo.
Okay, yeah, Stephen and Dodo, that well, we've beaten him this time, but he will be back.
Right.
The Toymaker will be back, and here we are later. 57 years later, he's back. So
he's more rattled with the Toymaker than he would be the Master and Davros, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, I mean, with the Master, the Doctor and the Master were friends at one point when they were in the Academy, and the Master has proven themselves to, obviously this, depending on which incarnation of the Master you're talking about, an absolute psychopath, but also can be decent, as we saw with Missy,
right?
The Dr. Falls. Davros, I mean, Davros never, like, occasionally he will try to pull a fast one over the Doctor, but he never hides his nature and who he is. But Davros is very single-minded. It's the Daleks, because the Daleks take after their creator. They are very single-minded. It's all about the supremacy of the Daleks, and anyone who's not a Dalek will be exterminated.
Pretty much.
So again, it's pretty straightforward. The Toymaker, the only thing that you can rely on with the Toymaker is that he will never cheat.
Right.
He will never break the rules. He will follow the rules of the game to the T. That is the only thing you can count on with the Toymaker. But other than that, you can't trust him, because he's just, because everything is his playground. And if you're not in the middle of playing a game with established rules, then he's going to do whatever the hell he wants. So, separating the Doctor and Donna at one point where they're running, almost doing a Scooby-Doo thing, running up and down halls, going through doorways. And at one point, Donna finding the rest of the doll family for Stooky Bill, which, again, creepy, but I love Donna's reaction. Just like takes the mom doll and just beats her head against the wall. Like the little babies are like, y'all gonna try anything? Nope. Okay. They just like scoop back into the dark, like, nope, not gonna mess with you, crazy lady.
Like, we're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah. They're like, nope, sorry, we're not gonna mess with you. The cherub between the angels should take a note. Oh no. And then the Toymaker trying to rattle Donna's faith in the Doctor by showing, like, oh, look at some of the companions he's had since you've been, while you had your memory wiped. Oh, look, he had a companion named Amy. Oh no, the redhead. Yeah. Like, oh, she died. Oh, she died of old age. Yeah. Clara, she died. No, technically she's alive in her last, heartbeat of life. And Bill, she died. Yeah, her body did, but her consciousness lives on. It's like, meanwhile, poor Rory gets forgotten. Poor Rory. Poor Rory.
Amy gets mentioned, but poor Rory. No.
Poor Rory.
Patrick gets name dropped.
Yeah. I mean, par for the course.
Name dropped.
Yeah, I mean, although, if Rory had heard that, he would have been like, no, actually, that tracks. Yeah. right
Yeah.
up there with Rory being called Mr. Pond. Yeah. Like, no, that's just the way the universe goes for poor Rory. So yeah.
It's no respect.
Yeah. Poor Rory. Well, and the thing is, you can't. If you brought Rory into it along with Amy, they would be their ages talking about all the times Rory died. So
Yeah.
for time's sake, they just leave Rory out of the conversation. Rory died a lot.
Yeah, well, what do you know?
Yep. Oh. Then we end up at Unit, and we get the lovely reunion of the Doctor and Mel, and it was so nice to see Mel again. Oh. The Kate Guthridge Stewart was not kidding that she may pluck some people from that past companion support group.
Yeah. It was nice to see Mel.
It was nice to see Mel. Yeah, because I mean last time we saw Mel, she was taking off with Savalon Glitz, telling the Doctor that she would put a note in a bottle and throw it out into the universe and assume that he would get it eventually. So while the Seventh Doctor had now had Ace as his companion. So yeah, I mean Mel has been in Big Finish, obviously, but she did not get the nice reunion with a Doctor like the Fifth and Seventh Doctors did in Jodie's last story. So it was nice to get Mel some screen time. So working for Unit, being the awesome Mel that she is. Savalon Glitz. She ran around the universe with Savalon Glitz till he was 101, and the only reason he died is because he tripped over a whiskey bottle.
Oh,
At the age of 101.
At the age of 101. That's the only reason Savalon Glitz is no longer with it. But Tony Shelby, who played Savalon Glitz, died a couple years ago. So yeah, this was their chance to acknowledge some of the actors that are no longer with us. Like, yeah, they mentioned Sarah Jane and the fact that she has passed. Yeah, in universe, Sarah Jane Smith is no longer with us. Something they have not outright done, even though Elizabeth Sladen has not been with us for a while.
Right.
So yeah, that was nice. Of course, not everybody gets name dropped is no longer with us. Obviously, Adric, Matthew Waterhouse, he's still with us. So
Adric is.
But Adric is not in universe, but the actor is still with us. Matthew's still with us. So, so yeah. And then of course the previous episode, while Blue Yonder, they dedicated to Bedard Cribbins. Yeah. So the fact that While Blue Yonder is kind of a military song, and the whole thing with Wilf that he was a proud soldier, that's very appropriate. Yeah. But yeah. We've got back to Unit, Kate Lethbridge Stewart. Yeah.
And taking a page out of Tony Stark's book, Not Blending In.
Yes. Yeah. I like how the Doctor, but he's like, your dad spent all those years trying to make sure Unit stayed on the DL. And here they've got a Stark Tower-esque building just showing up in places with big armored trucks going, we're Unit and we're here to help. Yeah.
And we get the call back with the helicopter dragging the TARDIS
once again being carried via helicopter. At least now the Doctor's not dangling from it.
True. And then Donna may or may not have gotten offered a job with a very nice pay bump and bonus.
Well, she, her husband, I'm sure, makes a decent amount driving a taxi, but as we learned, Donna gave away her lottery winnings.
Yes.
She was given a winning lottery ticket during the 10th Doctor's, Grand Farewell tour, and she proceeded to give it all away. So, helping other people.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Donna got doubling the initial pay offer that Kate gave her plus benefits
and 5 weeks of vacation.
I mean, but Donna did prove herself. I mean, she is very good on computers. Just don't give her any coffee near said computers.
Right.
It's not, this isn't like a new Pulsifer thing where you want to keep her away from anything electronic, especially computers. You just need to keep the combination of computer, Donna, and coffee separate. Donna wants coffee. She needs to go outside on the helipad. That's her designated coffee drinking area. When she comes back in, find a designated spot for her to put said coffee cup before she returns to her station, and everything will be hunky-dory.
Yep. Wondering where Osgood is, but again, who knows?
Who knows?
Where?
Doing something else.
Yep.
So.
On other assignments.
Yep. So, but that is okay because we do get introduced to Shirley, played by Ruth Madley, is in real life has spina bifida, and so she does use a wheelchair. But spina bifida is one of those where, depending on how extreme or how advanced it is, she does have the use of her extremities to a point. So like when we see her switching from her wheelchair to her desk chair, she is standing, granted with some assistance, she's leaning against the desk, but she can't stand for long enough for her to take her transfer from one seat to another. So when when Kate takes off her kind of filter thing to keep that's keeping them from being affected by the giggle, when she just goes off on everybody, and she just lays into Shirley, talking about how it's like, you don't need that wheelchair, I've seen you stand. And it's like, it's Kate doesn't mean it, but at the same time, it's like I've heard stories and seen stories of people saying things like that to people who have disabilities. And it's like, some disabilities are not like, once you're in a wheelchair, boom, you're in a wheelchair and you're never going to get up ever again. Something that something like what happened to Christopher Reeve.
Right.
Some disabilities are, some days are better than others. Some days you don't need as much mobility help. And then some days you might. So, I know people with things like fibromyalgia and have had strokes and stuff like that. And some days they're great. You barely know that they had anything wrong with them. And then some days they're just, they're at their worst. So, I'm kind of glad that they kind of put that in there to remind people that, not all disabilities are created equal. That being said, the TARDIS getting the wheelchair ramp.
Yes.
Russell T Davies got that idea from a fan. The fan was a YouTuber whose, I guess, her YouTube handle was Theories, and so the ramp now is called the Theories ramp. They named it after the fan, and I guess Ruth, who plays Shirley, when she saw it for the ramp for the first time on the TARDIS, that she cried because it was just so exciting to see. So that's cool. So then we have our showdown with the Toymaker and the Doctor. The Doctor challenges the Toymaker to a game. Simple card game. Cut the deck. Whoever has the highest card wins. Toymaker wins. Thinks he's got the best of the Doctor. Then the Doctor reminds him that means now they're tied at 1 win apiece. And common courtesy, gentlemen's rules, gentlemen's agreement says best of 3. And of course, like I was saying with the Toymaker, he will follow the rules to the letter, and in his mind, as far as the rules are concerned, he lost the first game to the first Doctor. He won the second game to a different incarnation of the Doctor, and therefore their best of 3 must be against a different version of the Doctor, and therefore tries to force regeneration, and we're introduced to bi-generation, which I do not know where Russell T Davies pulled this out of his ass.
He pulled it out of his ass because he could have just said, it's like an amoeba split.
Yes.
Because like there was already a word for it.
Yeah. But I know that I'm sure that it made the David Tennant fans very, very happy. Although that's not where my brain went at first. Like when he was like, the glowy and the regeneration and blah, 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 all that stuff. And then Donna's there, keeping him, making sure he's not alone. And then Mel is there too. So he's, bookended by redheads. Surprisingly, Mel, not his first redhead companion. That's actually Turlo. At least as far as color on TV is concerned.
Yes.
And it's like, we're all like, he's gonna regenerate. We're gonna, we all know who the next Doctor is, so we're just all waiting for, Shooty Gatwa's face to show up, and then nothing. And then he's like, pull my arms, it's like almost like pull my finger, and I'm like, they're like, what? And I'm like, what? He's like, each grab an arm, pull really hard, and I'm like, what is this gonna be like a Christmas cracker or what? They're gonna pull, he's just gonna explode in a bunch of confetti, and all of a sudden there's gonna be Shooty Gatwa? What's going on here? No. They split. 2 complete beings from tip to tail.
That way, if they need to call David Tennant back and be like, "Hey,
exactly." I was like,
ratings. Can you show up for an episode or 2?
Yeah, I was like, you can look at this either as a very pessimistic thing or a very not pessimistic thing. The non-pessimist would be like, well, David, he's such a fanboy. Leaving that door open for him to come back for TV. Obviously, he's doing Big Finish now. But to leave that door open for this face to come back on TV is great. Because the minute they call, he's going to be like, absolutely, when and where. He's got his bag. He's running out the door going, bye, Georgia. Bye, kids. Probably a little easier now that, it's not 5 children under their roof. Now they've got a couple that are grown up and got careers of their own, so less children to watch. So it's like, it's great for David Tennant, it's great for the fan base, but then if you want to look at it a bit more pessimistically, you could be like, well, it's just a money grab, because David Tennant, anything involving David Tennant is gonna print money. So you could look at it that way. They both technically are correct, I think.
Yeah, and this one is still on Earth, so it's not like the Meta Crisis Doctor. You send him to a different dimension. So yeah, it's kind of hard to get him. Like, no, he's just hanging out with Donna's family. So you know, he's just give him a phone call or something, or walk over and say, hey, by the way.
I just think, Donna's trying to convince him to, like, oh, you could come back to my place and, hang out, with me and the husband and the kid and all this stuff, live the slow life. And the doctor's like, no, I couldn't do that. I'm like, yeah, no, you can't do that. We've all seen The Power of Three.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the prevailing theory on the internet is that he is going to become the curator.
Interesting.
That he will age in some form or fashion, and eventually he'll have the old Tom Baker face that we saw in the 50th. So that would explain why the curator knew what he knew, even though we're all like, oh, it's the fourth Doctor, but this Doctor, like as he ages, like his faces go backwards or something. I don't know how they're, if that's where they're going, how that's going to work. I don't know. As I was saying in the chat, Big Finish is gonna, they could have a field day with this. But leaving that door open just enough. It's win-win for everybody, really. It gives them lots of storytelling opportunities, both for TV, Big Finish, the comics, whatever. It's great for David, as big a fan as he is and how much he loves the show, which is really funny considering watching Doctor Who is a reason he wanted to become an actor, because he eventually hoped that maybe one day he could be on Doctor Who, which is why he begged and pleaded to get that tiny bit in Big Finish way back in the day, thinking that was the closest he was going to ever get. And then he ends up getting to be the Doctor, marries one of the Doctor's daughters. Now he has one of the Doctors as a father-in-law and grandfather to his children. But when David Tennant was the Doctor the first time around, obviously, he was the reason Ncuti wanted to become an actor. Was watching David Tennant as the Doctor on Doctor Who. So you've got these two Doctors acting, with each other, facing down Neil Patrick Harris, who is just, amazing in his own right. Yeah. And they're both playing the character that influenced them to become actors in the first place. They are now that character, which I think is just really cool. And I think David and Ncuti they played off each other so well, and I'm so glad that we got that much screen time with our new Doctor, that it wasn't just like regeneration, sad, old Doctor goes away, we have this new Doctor, credits roll, maybe something else crazy happens. No, we got like 15, 20 minutes or something like that. When that the bi-regeneration happened, there was still a good chunk of the episode left. And I was like, what's going on here? We still got a lot of TV still to go. And just to challenge the Toymaker to that third game, your best of 3, and they play ball. They're on the helipad of Unit Tower.
Yep.
And that was really cool. Again, seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff, a lot of it was practical. There's a lot of them throwing the ball at each other and diving and landing on obviously mats to protect themselves when they hit the ground and stuff. But yeah, I love that we got that much screen time with our new Doctor before the end of the episode to get him in there, get some of that personality going right off the bat. It doesn't seem like regeneration sickness is going to be a thing.
No.
This time around, but like Ncuti was saying, we're doing rehab out of order. You
Yep.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially the you know, the previous incarnations are going to have a bit of a therapy, hopefully with Donna's help, and that will trickle eventually in, you know, to Shooty's incarnation, so that he is hitting the ground running, with or without trousers.
Yeah.
Which, you've got Donna Noble right there with all of this screen time, and if anybody was going to say anything, it was going to be her. Yep. How is she not bring up the fact that doctor's not wearing any trousers? Right? Entire time.
Uh-huh.
And I want to use my British terminology properly. I'm going to respect the country it comes from. Because we can't say pants. Technically, he is wearing pants because he's got underwear on.
Right.
Because that's what they call undies in the UK. Is pants.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And
so he's not wearing any trousers.
Well, I will say this. At least he was wearing a shirt.
Yes.
Yes.
Because a lot of the pictures, and not just of him as the doctor, just pictures of him, of Shooty Gatwa, he's like only wearing half a shirt. I'm like, does this man know how to button up a dress shirt or whatever? Nope. I'm like,
he's young and he's in shape, and that's good if he's gonna be the doctor for a while. Mm-hmm. So
it's just something I know.
I'm fine with it.
Like, reminds me of those like cover models you saw on like Teen Beat when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the new teen heartthrob. I'm like,
yeah. Well, and eventually he is going to find clothes. In fact, she's going to find a lot of clothes, as we've seen with some of the promotional pictures. This doctor is actually going to have quite the wardrobe, which is going to make cosplay a lot of fun for a lot of people. And we'll see how many people are running around in just chucks and a shirt and tidy whities. If you want to know if the doctor is a boxer or briefs kind of Time Lord, at least as far as the 14th Doctor is concerned, there you go. Y fronts all the way. But yeah, it was like, people are going to be like, how many people are going to be cosplaying that next year? I'm like, well, they would fit right in with Walter White from Breaking Bad.
Or Tom Cruise, The Risky Business.
Yep. Or cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
Robe and the trapper hat.
Yep.
Shitter was full. So you know.
So it's going to be a guessing game. Okay, which one are you cosplaying?
Yeah, and you have to look at the accessories. It's like, okay, shirt, shoes, but what kind of shoes are they wearing? They're wearing loafers? Are they wearing a gas mask? Okay, Breaking Bad.
Yep.
They're wearing chucks with just a shirt and the tie. Okay, you're probably the doctor. You're wearing a robe, then you're probably cousin Eddie. So.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that somewhere down the line we get a spinoff with 14 Donna and Mel, or 14, 15 Donna and Mel. I would love that. It's just like, this is a team TARDIS I could live with for a while. The chemistry.
And the thing is, you can, like, again, this gives you so many storytelling opportunities, not just for TV, but, you know, every time the Doctor Who comes up, of course, we gotta, you know, extol the virtues of Big Finish. You could have not just Mel with her doctors, you know, her canon TV doctors, you know, 6 and 7, but now you could have Mel and or Donna in the unit Big Finish.
Yep.
As well. So you got that going for you. And then of course, you know, the Celestial Toymaker loses, like all bad guys do, because their ego gets the best of them. And then of course he's like, you know, begging.
Yeah.
Not to be put in a box, but that's where he ends up.
Yep.
Yes.
Well,
And good on Kate for-
99.9% of him ends up in the box. So
Yeah. And Kate's like, deepest place you can find and salt it.
yes, unfortunately, that gold tooth is going to come back to bite us in the butt at some point in the future.
Another Flash Gordon moment just from like the end of time. And
Yes.
it's like, oh, yep.
The question is, when the Toymaker agreed to end the Master's suffering, and then encased him in that gold tooth, which version of the Master was it?
Exactly.
Is it the version that we've had most recently?
Right.
Is there possible incarnations after that? Because as much as people are maybe slightly confused now about the order and numbering of the Doctors, the Master's even worse.
Yes.
There was never a consistent ordering of the Master.
Yeah. So the thing is, we don't know which version of the Master is hidden inside that tooth and who picked up that tooth.
Right.
So it's like, is it somebody good? Is it somebody bad?
I mean,
Is it-
isn't it implying the same person that picked up the ring from that last time?
Yeah, because this is.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it somebody related to this being that the Toymaker name dropped at one point? The one who waits? Who the hell is that?
No kidding.
You know?
Any relation to He Who Remains? I mean, Disney's.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I was like, is this where we get our Doctor Who MCU crossover?
Yeah. On your left.
Yeah. It's like, you heard about variants. Like,
Yeah.
see how we do variants over here? It's called regeneration. Not to... Let's not even get started on timelines. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Time Lords and the Doctor would have a fit seeing what's happening with timelines over in the MCU, especially the TVA.
Yeah.
So.
Branches? Loppers? I don't think so.
Although now we have the MCU that has given us the most entertaining use of a well-known popular song.
Yep.
In the Marvels with Memory from Cats.
Yeah.
I will not give you any more context from that. And now we've got Doctor Who giving us the Spice Girls, Spice Up Your Life. So.
Yep.
Oh, thank you for the brainworms, earworms, both of you. Yep. I hate you both. I'm just kidding. I love you. Don't ever go away. I have no idea who the one who waits. I mean, if it's somebody that makes the Toymaker turn tail and run,
it's got to be pretty dang bad.
I mean, who?
I don't know
out there
because I've seen Rassilon. I've seen somebody mention Zagreus.
Oh my god! Could you imagine trying to bring Zagreus into live action?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Uh-huh.
Good luck with that if you ever try to attempt it, Russell T Davies.
Yeah.
May God have mercy on your soul and your husband.
Yeah.
Especially your husband. Ooh, lordy. Oh, I didn't even think of Zagreus. Oh.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think of it until I was scrolling through Facebook and somebody's just like, well, what about him? And it's like, oh, crap.
Zagreus could be somebody that would make the Toymaker shake in his boots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was, because I first thought it was like Rassilon, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Omega? Because Omega had, I mean, we have not seen Omega in a long time, but I mean, Omega is able to manifest stuff just by his will.
Yep.
So it'd have to be somebody that's on the same power level, if not more powerful, than the Toymaker to make the Toymaker nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it could be. Whew. Okay. makes me a little nervous.
Uh-huh.
We do know Rassilon likes to play games. and the Toymaker did say the one game he did not want to play, the one player he did not dare face. So, yeah. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. You know, that, I mean, with knowing Russell T Davies, that could be something that will not pay off for who knows how long.
2 years down the road.
Yeah. I mean, we've got Christmas, which is really, it's going to be our introduction to our new companion, Ruby.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And beyond, and apparently Christmas goblins.
Yeah.
Why not?
Watching
We've
that
had actual Santa. We've had actual Santa Claus. Why not? And elves. And at some point next year, maybe at Christmas, when we get Christmas, they'll may give us some idea of when the next season will properly start. Because that's been filmed and in the can for a while. Because Shooty is filming season 2, his second season as a doctor.
Oh wow!
Already, so his second season is already underway in filming. I don't know how far into it they are, but so it's not like we're waiting for them to finish filming his first full season as a doctor. That's in post-production. It's just just a matter of when that's going to be done for us to get it. So who knows when this entity that waits may pop up again, and if that's connected to the master in the gold tooth, we don't know. Damn you, Russell T Davies, I hate you and love you.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good. Just that each episode was good for its own reason. The 3 of them together was just good. It was interesting to see them try something a little different for an anniversary year than some let's get multiple doctors together, although we still end up with multiple doctors together. So, which again, I'm always a sucker for multi-doctor stories.
Yes.
Even if it's not the entire episode, that was a good chunk of time with 2 doctors, playing off each other. I'm here for it. So to do these specials with kind of an arc to them to give us closure with Donna. Because I know a lot of people hated the fact that she had her memory wiped. We got a send off to Wilf, which is nice.
Yes.
So, and we've got our new doctor.
Yes.
Off in his TARDIS, while the 14th Doctor at the moment is having tea at Donna's house with her family, while Wilf apparently shoots at moles, but is going to miss every time because the doctors put a force field around the mole holes. Oh my.
Yep.
So.
Crazy Auntie Mel.
Yeah, and Mel.
Mother-in-law.
I'm not sure exactly how the doctor figured out that family tree, because it just does not make sense.
Yeah, I know.
Because Donna's more like a sister to him. Therefore, Sylvia would be like a stepmother, maybe?
Mother, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless he's adopting Sean as a as the member of the family that he's.
Because then Sean could be the doctor's proverbial brother-in-law,
right?
And that would still make Rose his niece, and then Mel could still be Auntie Mel. But Sylvia is the mother-in-law. Does not quite make sense.
I'm talking this up to the doctor has so many different cultures and ways of referring to things in his head that
and his family is so big.
Well, yes.
Right.
So it's like, he's just gonna call it whatever he wants, and we just go with it.
Yeah. And so we're like, Dr. Sylvia would be like your adopted mother or stepmother or whatever. Amy is your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Much to Amy's chagrin.
I mean, you still have a you still have an incarnation on a honeymoon somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. In another dimension, Jackie Tyler is your mother-in-law. So
Yeah.
So anyway, Doctor Who. Any more thoughts, opinions? Squee?
No.
Squee, more squee, and more squee. Thank heavens we don't have too much longer to wait till the Christmas special, and I'm hoping we get an announcement for Shooty Gatwa's first official season, and yoo-hoo!
I mean, they are slowly giving us more. We've gotten a video showing off the new Sonic.
Yes.
So that's cool. A bit more living room remote control-y.
Yes. And I'm wondering if it
Meet
doesn't
Star
kind
Trek?
of... Yeah, and I'm wondering if it doesn't kind of twist clothes. I mean, it's
I think
showing
it
more out.
does.
And
Yeah,
it's like, hey, I kind of like that.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. So,
Yes.
yeah. And it might be a bit more hand friendly because I have several of the Sonics, and I will say the button placement, especially on Matt Smith's Doctors, is awkward.
Yes.
So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this new one and seeing like the button placement because it just looks like it may be more ergonomically friendly.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that's we'll see it in a few weeks as we're recording this. Christmas is 2 weeks from today, so.
Yes, it is.
Oh goodness.
So
not
no
done.
pressure if you're not done shopping.
I'm not.
Oh boy.
Whoops.
Okay. Well, if any of our listeners want to pipe in with their thoughts, ideas, theories, whatever, or just anything that we talked about in our episode today, you can send us some feedback. Our email address is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. Was that I'm going to talk again? Okay. Or let's see. So there's the email, the website is the5ishfangirls.com, and that has links to our social media and our show notes and all the good stuff that you can find there. You can also leave comments wherever, and you can check out our YouTube channel. And if you would like to support the podcast in a financial way, if you are able to, no pressure. I know things are tough, and it's Christmas and such, so But if you can and you would like to, we would appreciate it. Support us through our Patreon and our merch shop. And at least the merch shop has the added bonus of, hey, Christmas presents. Someone need a new mug or a mouse pad or something? Or some fun stickers? I've like become a sticker junkie, and it's ridiculous how many stickers I have in my little crafting area of when I'm like, I gotta do So anyway, so that's us, and of course, always we thank you and appreciate your support, your feedback, and your comments, any of that, messages that you've sent, because it helps kind of what is word it helps keep up morale, let's say. So, and it's just good to know that there are people out there listening and enjoying what we do, and all of our silly antics, because it's fun. We enjoy it, and it's fun that other people enjoy it. So, just good times all.
We'll be back next week with our last episode of the year, actually. So, because both Christmas and New Year's fall on a Monday, we're going to take that week and the week of New Year's off so we can travel and spend time with the family and stay up way too late and eat way too much candy and other yummy treats that come with this time of year.
Yes.
I really need more stretchy pants. Anything that's got an elastic in it is coming out of the closet. But yes, we'll have one more episode for you next week, and then we'll be off until after New Year's.
Yeah.
Presumably, once we all out of a candy cane coma. So.
So yeah, one more episode and then we're off.
Yep.
So
keep that in mind.
We're not going yet, but
nope.
Have a fun holiday, whatever it is your plans are.
Yes. Mazel tov to all our Jewish friends.
Yes.
Hanukkah began last week. Yep. So. All right. So with that, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany and Bojo saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. I named this ship The Delusions of Grandeur. Thank you for listening to the Fiveish Fangirls. Please visit thefivishfangirls.com for details on how to further support the show, along with information on our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back. We love our Fiveish fam and appreciate all of your feedback, shares, and encouragement. Remember to keep letting your geek flag fly.